What is your will, my master?
Hey, what's up, Jacob? Quick demo video for you for your custom Crossguard by Starfall sabers. Got this done yesterday. I know you're not quite ready for this, and that's fine. Although I do appreciate the communication beforehand so that I could plan, but I just had this in-house and I wanted to get it done so it'll be ready and it'll be waiting on you. So that's no worries there, right? It's installed with the Proffie V2. You've got 3 sets of CC sabers lit pixel connectors. So there's all 3. And then you've got a crystal chamber here. So this crystal chamber is wired in line with the blade, or I'm sorry, the blades. And I did that because I made this a removable chassis. So this saber only opens from the pommel right here. So you just want to unscrew this part and make sure I don't drop it. I'll show you what I did to this pommel here in a second. But once you take this off, you'll see your speaker there, and your chassis will slide right out into your hand just like that. And then this is what your chassis looks like. So it does have has the Jedi symbol over here that matches the one on your shroud. Just a little something I did down here to try and match the handle, right? So you got those grooves in the handle, so I kind of put that in the chassis as well. And then I set Solo Sabers over here for me and Arabesh, and then there's a 28mm Smugglers Outpost Elite speaker in here that could fit in the very back, and that's why this back piece is a little bit bigger than the rest, because the ID of the actual handle would not fit the speaker, but the back end does. So we got the biggest speaker we could in there for you. You got a removable battery setup, right? So spring side over here. Your board is just a snap fit down into the shelf. It was a little looser than I like it to be, so I went ahead and I put a piece of art tape around it. This is something that I modeled into my chassis anyway, so that you could use this 1/4-inch art tape. I just went ahead and I put it on there for you this time around. And then you've got, this utilizes the Smugglers Outpost Switch Pixel PCB set. So obviously there's your female set right there. And then there's a 14 pin. You're not going to be able to see it in the light. It's super deep down in there, but there's a 14 pin PCB set that sits right underneath this crystal chamber. It's probably about right there or so, and that never comes out. Okay. Now what I did with the pommel, because when you have these types of removable chassis, you need to have something that presses up against the back end and pushes it forward so that it engages all those 14 pins, but you don't want to press anything up against the speaker drum or your sound will be distorted. So I've done this a few different ways. Sometimes I'll 3D print a ring or a little spacer and I'll glue it to the speaker. I didn't want to do that on this one if I could get away with it. So I made this guy, and I did not glue this in. So we could pull this out. And what you've got there is basically this. It's got this little ring on it, but it doesn't impede on the speaker drum. What you can't tell from me showing it right here is it's not a straight corner in there. It's actually beveled. So it kind of acts just like, it just pushes the sound right out the back here where these holes are at, right? But this little piece fits into this pommel just like that, and it never comes out of there. I just didn't want to glue it in. And you see how that presses up against the speaker like that, pushes everything forward, right? So we'll throw a battery in here. This has a stock font package on it though. I can load the Starfall package, or I can send you the Starfall package for Proffie. That way you can load it on the Saber if you want, or you can manipulate it however you want. I'll only give you the Proffie version since you got a Proffie install, and it's pretty standard to give those out with his sabers, so that's what I'll do for you if you want. We'll throw a battery in here. Once you got the battery in, you could throw it in the saber however you want, right? So we'll just obviously it's got motion controls. It might go off on you. Goes in there and just push it all the way in. And then you can take your pommel here and screw it all the way on and lock it down. Now remember that spacer, it's going to get tight on about the last thread and a half or so. Just tighten it all the way. Now those 14 pins are engaged up here. So you got your crystal chamber going, each of your quillions, and your main blade. We'll twist it off. This has a brass dual tactile switch from Robert Sotomayor over at Sorok Sabers. That's what this saber utilizes. It is a nice press fit into this particular saber, so I did not adhese it, just in case you need to have some sort of maintenance in the future. It's easy to take out, right? There was no need to glue this in because it was a nice tight press fit and it won't come out on you. But I made your top switch your activation, and then your bottom switch is your auxiliary. You can turn it off just like that. Now I'm going to take my small test blade and I'll put it in each of the quillions and I'll fire it up real quick and then turn it off. I don't want to leave them on. These side quillions were wired for side blades, right? So small blades, like 8 inches or less or so. I use 30 gauge wire to do that. I typically do that on all crossguards because they don't pump out as much juice as a full length blade would. On your full length blade, I use closer like 22 gauge wire because it's a 26 to 30-inch blade or whatever it is you're going to use, and these are not. So I'll use this really quick, put it in each side, fire it up so you can see that it works, and I'm going to turn it off and shut her down. Let me find the activation. So we got this side, right? So that side works, and then if we flip it around here, we put it in here all the way, you can see that that side works as well. And then we will go ahead and I'll put the main blade into the main socket and we'll leave it in there and test it out a little bit. I just don't have any small quillion blades laying around to test these guys out. Whoever makes those for you, like whatever size they make them, it'll be fine as long as they're not, sticking out here or something ridiculous, right? Everything is solid here. You do have blade lockup, right? You can hear that until you pull away from it.
Smooth fuzz.
It's a solid red blade. Good flash on clash.
Rogue Commander.
Nice, like a unstable blue or a fire blue. The blade lock up, which you can see in your crystal, right? This green blade. It's like that, and we'll take the blade out. And then go over taking the battery out, which is super easy to do, right? So obviously we just want to come back over here and unscrew the pommel. And then with that battery in, the chassis got a little bit more heft. So it'll slide right out still, right into your hand. And then from the positive side over here by the speaker, you can pop that battery out with your finger just like that. And that's what you're left with there, and we'll put it back into the saber. So that is pretty much your saber. Thanks for trusting me with it. I know it didn't come to me, originally, but I got this, just got this in the mail yesterday and wrapped it up for you today. So I hope that what I did with it is something that you're happy with. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, this will go out to you when you're ready. All right, thanks, man.